Guys, Joe McDonough here with CageSidePress.com, joined by Kenney, who has a huge bantamweight fight coming up in just a week away. Casey, how are you feeling, and how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. The camp went fast, and we are almost a week out. Weigh-ins are a week from today, and feeling great, feeling ready, and ready to paint my masterpiece.
And this must be the most exciting time. I mean, I know weight cut's still going on and all that stuff, but counting down the days. It's not weeks away now. It's a week away, and then it's 6 days, 5 days. Fighters always tell me, sparring and stuff's the hardest part. The fun night and fight night's the fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it there. Fight week is one of my favorite weeks, of camp. Obviously you have to do the training, get prepared. At this point, sparring's done. Most of the hard stuff's done. I'm just going to move around, stay sharp, but pretty much recover the body from a long camp. And, next week's all fun, except for the weight cut, but that's not too bad really. So I'm having fun all week.
And you have former champion and arguably, but really not that arguable, probably the GOAT of the 135-pound division, in Dominick Cruz. And, talk me through, because, we've heard it all before. When you fight someone that has that aura around them, that legend status, around them, how do you prepare for the fighter and not for what they've done or what they've previously done?
One thing I like to do every fight is sharpen what I have, focus on myself, and then, obviously study my opponent a little bit, make adjustments here and there. But first and foremost is focus on myself and get myself ready, get myself sharp and shape. But this one has been pretty much the same. I was waiting for some awe factor, but, that's how it should be. I'm treating him like anybody else. And, pretty much camp has been pretty much the same. And, not any different fighting Dominick Cruz. Maybe when I get in there, it'll be a little bit different, but I've put in the work, put in the time, and it's exactly where I should be.
And does it surprise you at all that there hasn't been that awe factor at all? Obviously this is a guy I'm sure you've watched, be a champion and all of that, and throughout camp. I'm sure when you signed on that dotted line, you thought maybe there would be that awe factor.
Yeah, exactly. I thought there was maybe something going to pop out at me or, feel a little bit different. And I will say with this one is, it wake me up early in the morning, like, oh man, wonder what Dominick Cruz is doing. I get that, like that drive, but I have that for everybody that I fight. Try not to take anybody lightly and treat everybody the same. And, it's worked out well for me. So we'll see on March 6th.
And I think that says something about your mentality, the fact that you're able to fight someone like this and treat it like anyone. And I like what you just said there, no matter who you're fighting, you think in the morning, I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what they're doing today. I think that speaks to your mentality. So tell us a little more about that.
I started competing in judo back in 5-6 years old. And, I was competing for national titles 10 and 11 years old. So I've been a competitor at, the highest level of the sports I've been doing since as far back as I can remember. And, in MMA, this is my 20th pro fight. I got 3 world titles outside of the UFC. I fought some of the best. I've seen some of the best skills. So, all that build up, all the back-to-back stuff on Fight Island, back-to-back weekends, my debut, that's all stuff that I've put in my confidence, and build off of to build my confidence. And, here we are fighting Dominick Cruz. And, I feel like it should feel like another fight because I know I'm prepared, I'm prepared. I've been training my whole life for this moment. So it's going to be fun.
And, as you rattle off the impressive resume we all know you have, I think back that you're only 29 years old, which is pretty insane to think of, this is, what you said, your 20th pro fight, 3-time champion, all this stuff, rattling off things, competing since 6 years old. And here you are at 29. Did you think you'd be in this spot at 29?
I thought I'd get here a little bit sooner, actually. But everything happens for a reason. And, I'm super happy with, my journey, and the journey's, really just beginning. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm still trying to write history here.
Mm-hmm. And on my Coach's Corner podcast, I had head coach John Crouch on there for MMA Lab. He raved about you. Obviously, you actually have a couple teammates fighting on the same card. I've always wondered, as a fighter, do you enjoy when you have multiple teammates on the card, or do you kind of want that like everyone's focused on you? Everyone's trying to make it your night.
No, I'm super stoked to have three of us. My last two fights, I had one other teammate. Kyler was the first Fight Island fight, and then I went back with Jared Cannonier. So we were rolling, 10 guys deep around Fight Island, feeling like, Habib's team. So it's cool to roll in with that many people, and especially now all bantamweights on such a big card. People are dying to get on this card, and we got three guys on it, all three bantamweights too.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing feeling, man. And I think we all feed off of each other too. And like I saw Kyler, the first Fight Island fight. I just got done fighting Alatang, and I was leaving through security, and he was coming in through security, and it was a cool meet, wish of luck. He told me good luck. Yeah, I went back to the hotel, and he went to the warm up room. So I feel like we're gonna have something like that in Vegas, with Mario and Kyler. So it's a good energy to have.
Mm-hmm. And when I talked to John, he had said the same thing. It's a very cool feeling because each fighter has their three cornermen with them. That people that may not get to be corners or get to come on a normal night, if it's just one or two fighters. When there's three or four fighters, it's almost like the whole team's there.
Right, exactly. And the more the merrier on fight week, especially during COVID. It gets kind of lonely in there.
during the quarantine and everything. What is your favorite thing to do during the quarantine? Is it just kind of all training when you're is it weight cutting? Is there anything kind of random and cool that you like to do in the hotel on fight week?
It was a lot of traveling, resting. The first time was a long camp, the whole Fight Island trip. We were in the room kind of bored. I was jumping around from bed to bed trying to kill time. I watched, a couple things on Netflix, but most of it was, recovery, stretching, doing tests, doing interviews, the normal fight week stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little boring during the last two during Fight Island because it was like an extra week longer. So a lot of hotel time, but messed around on my phone. A lot of people are reaching out to me at that time. So it's a good time to kind of like sit down and, soak in the whole moment. So, I don't have anything cool or a go-to. A lot of people play video games and stuff, and man, I'm just I watch fights, watch my opponent, do the normal stuff.
I love it, and obviously 135. I mean, in my opinion, and I'm sure you're a little you'd agree with me here. You're a little biased. That 135 is probably the most stacked division in the UFC right now. I think 155 is right there, but 135 is probably the top dog right now. And here you are fighting the former champion, arguably the best ever to ever do it at 135. I mean, a win here throws you right into title contention, right?
Yeah, I don't think I think there's a few more before a title shot or before we start talking about a title. But I think if you beat a former champion, there's a handful of other former champions, up in the division. So I knock off a couple former champions this year, then we can talk for a title. So this is the exact step that I want to take, and this is the exact position I want to be in to, jump into that talks of maybe he's next for a title.
Mm-hmm. And is there anyone in particular that, obviously there's a plethora of names that, can be exciting to look at and say, I want to fight this guy, and this guy. Is there anyone or a couple people in mind, or is it, not even crossed your mind yet?
Yeah, I always got a couple names in mind. Like I just said, beat a former champion. Let's go after another former champion. So we got Dillashaw, Garbrandt, Aldo, really anybody, but I'm kind of on the former champion kick or legend tour. I guess Edgar's up there too,
Yep.
So any of those guys.
I love that, the legend tour. I mean, you got to make that a T-shirt.
Right.
Next go up to Dana. All right, I'm on the legend tour. Dominick Cruz crossed off. Give me Garbrandt, Dillashaw, whoever. I love that. That's awesome. And when you're preparing for a guy like Cruz, I know that you've said that most of the time you're, working on yourself and getting the best out of yourself, to be the best fighter on fight night. But when you're watching Cruz and tape, how much are you watching of the more recent fights? Because obviously it's been very sporadic. It's been few and far between. When he lost the title to Garbrandt, was off for what, two plus years. Then Cejudo. So how do you prepare for a fighter that's only fought really once in the last 3 years?
I watch a little bit of their tape at the beginning, kind of towards the middle, and maybe a little bit throughout camp. But I watched the later fights. I watched some of the more recent fights, and like you said, even some of the later fights, those habits, those tendencies, they're kind of built into him even a decade later. Obviously he's got little things that he does differently, but some of those things he's going to do. And I try not to think too much about it, but I do watch for certain little things that he does, how he moves, that type of thing. And obviously Dominick Cruz has been around for a little while and has his own unique style, but this guy switching stances, guys with their hands down, doing all that crazy funky stuff, like that's the new style MMA almost.
Yeah.
And I've been dealing with that for a long time, or pretty much my whole career. So it's nothing really new, but we'll see how it goes.
UFC 259, obviously probably a contender for card of the year, and on paper it looks like it should be card of the year. Is there, biggest opponent you fought to date? Is there somehow this fight's a main card and or main event on a fight night? You know what I mean? And we're watching you guys on the prelims. It feels like we're cheating the MMA gods somehow. Is there extra pressure to have a big performance with just kind of the night that it looks like it should be?
I mean, the pressure is always on. I've been dealing with pressure for a long time. I feel like I thrive under pressure. I feel like when the lights are on, I shine bright. And, it's the same thing here. It's another step up in competition. And I think just really the accolades that he holds, the belts, the accomplishments, all that good stuff. But skill for skill, I fought guys just as dangerous, just as strong, just as fast. So, should be good.
Yeah, and I can speak for every fan of MMA right now and say that we're all looking forward to it.
Oh, and to add to the main card thing in the prelims, I think the spot that we're in with the featured prelim is one of the most watched fights that it can be, and obviously it's a stacked card.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan because I'm going to get to go back and watch the pay-per-view probably at the hotel room.
Yeah,
so I'm all for that.
Perfect timing for you. Head right back, grab a drink after the win, and watch the 3 title fights.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially the bantamweight titles on the line. So I got like the hour. I hit a couple interviews. Hopefully, I'm back in the hotel watching Jan and Sterling.
Rush through the media stuff. And the last one for me is just some fighters don't like to give them. That's fine if you don't want to. But do you have any predictions for fight night a week from now?
Man, I'm looking for a finish. I went to decision last couple times, but I was bringing the heat, trying to go for that finish, and I think I put Dom Cruz away. 1, 2, or 3 doesn't matter. Coming out hot,
and it'll be I can from looking at this card, it'll be a fight for performance of the night, and I'm hoping to see Casey Kenney's name right up there.
Yeah, exactly, man. I was saying Mario and Kyler on the card. Dang, we gotta snatch some bonuses. Those guys are coming off bonuses too. All 3 of us are coming off bonuses our last fight, so maybe we can get all 3.
That'd be a MMA Labs night. Well, Casey, thank you very much, man. And I look forward to watching in a week, man.
For sure. Thanks, man. Thanks for your time as well.